Hello, welcome to Reanimated. This is the podcast about zombies and stuff. Today we are actually talking about zombies with the movie Ziam from 2020, I want to say four. And before we get to that, I'm going to introduce the co-host with the most, H.A. Conrad. How are you?
All right. How are you?
I'm good. Did I say I'm Stuart? I might have.
If you did,
Clearly, I'm
who
great.
you are. You're fantastic.
Yeah, and we got a little bit of news to talk about. Nothing too big. We're still in the pre-Halloween. Everybody's holding on to their zombie news for another month.
Yep.
So a couple of articles. One of them is following up on the press sort of announcement made at Paramount a week or two ago, where the new head of the studio name dropped World War Z as a property that they're looking to revisit. And so the news that folks have been promoting this week is that World War Z, the original film, is coming to Paramount Plus with a streaming date in September, I guess for the first time in a while. I feel like it used to be on a few different streamers.
Yeah, I think so. But like many of these things, it kind of cycled out for some reason. So I guess it is getting, they're breathing new reanimated life into it.
I mean, it's literally one of their movies. Like, why hasn't it always been on
Yeah, it's
Paramount
kind of
Plus?
odd. Well, I think some people thought that this might mean similar to 28 Days Later, or that franchise, that maybe this means that like they're kind of holding on to it for other distribution reasons, that maybe they would look at a sequel or something. I don't think it's that. I think these kinds of agreements kind of come in and out, and they were negotiating for something more or something like that. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, it's coming back, so that's kind of fun.
Today, actually. It should be available to watch on Paramount Plus as of September 1st.
Sweet.
So get out there and watch your zombie mobs with Brad Pitt. And I think that they are gonna redevelop it into a sequel based on I would say it's even money, like 50-50 that they're gonna do it.
I do have a slight update because I did watch the second season of Wednesday because of the zombie related stuff that kept popping up. And I would say that it's a part of the story, but it's not like the main thing. And the zombie related things that happen, like the zombie that's featured in it, it is pretty gross. But I don't know that we need to necessarily dive into that particular series just because of that.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. I mean, the show is very dark. I would say the season is like really even more dark than the last season. Like it's kind of troubling. Um, not one I don't think for the kids, unless your kids are super dark. Maybe they're darker. Maybe I'm being too sensitive because I remember watching much worse things when I was a kid. But I guess I'm just saying, like for younger kids, it's probably not for them.
No,
So,
I mean, yeah. I'm pretty strict about what my kids get to watch.
yeah.
And that includes a lot of PG-13 stuff that is fairly vanilla, but then
Yep.
every so often there's content in those shows that you're like, well, yeah, I don't really want my 9-year-old to be
Yeah,
exposed to this.
exactly. Yeah. This has a lot of mental health stuff in there too. Like, so it's not just the horror aspect. Um, so that's a part of it as well. It is a fun season, so I did enjoy it. I think I liked it a lot more than the first season. But it is a little bit, I mean, it's campy, but it's not, I mean, it's a Tim Burton thing, so that should give you an idea of what the kind of vibe is.
Right.
But not for, unless something changes drastically, I just don't think it's worth for us to get into it. So I did it for you, Stuart. You should feel free to watch away, but I don't think we have to do it for the podcast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think it's on my list. It's had enough critical interest that I would want to see it too eventually.
Yeah. And it is, it's fun. It's a little, did you ever watch the new Sabrina reboot? It's kind of
Yeah, I
that.
watched like a season of that.
It's in that vein, kind of.
I figured it might be.
Yeah. So okay. And then speaking of things, I guess we wouldn't want to watch again, though I don't know that
I
I.
don't think you should say that. I think a rewatch of the whole Walking Dead is 100% something we might do one
No,
day.
no, no. I would absolutely do that. I'm just saying,
Oh,
there
but right, for this particular article,
yes.
yeah.
So there's an article that came out, Comic Book Resources, which was just a listicle about different episodes of The Walking Dead that they found that they didn't like. I don't know that I agreed with all of these. And I think, maybe this is my sort of like fondness for the show. I definitely think there were certain seasons, like the Herschel's Farm season and some other things that I didn't love the storytelling and certainly a few episodes. I don't know that I would have picked all of these. And I definitely would have picked some of the Fear the Walking Dead ones over this, but I guess they were talking about the OG, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, the Fear of the Walking Dead, that would be a really long listicle of episodes that it's not worth watching again. Oh my God. So what is surprising here, or maybe not surprising, there are no episodes in this list of sh episodes of The Walking Dead that are not worth rewatching, is basically what this is, that pre that come before season six. These are all season six and later, which I thought was quite interesting just in itself. I mean, granted, seasons one through five are pretty solid. That's what made the show the hit that it is. Um, and the first one on the list, I 100% agree with, where it's like Rick has this relationship with this hairdresser in Alexandria
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
after he'd
Okay.
killed her husband, her abusive
I
husband.
forgot about this one, but maybe I just blocked it out.
Yeah, and then you read yeah, it's not a great article, a great episode. It's also season six. The second one on the list is the lineup with the Negan reveal.
Yeah.
Understandably, not one that anybody really loves, and I think we definitely had a hard time with that when we were
Yeah, I
talking
agree.
about it. And then season 11 gets a oddly, this is an Angela Kang episode, or not, maybe she didn't write it, but she was show running it. And there are a fair number of Angela Kang episodes on this list that like these hurt me to my core.
Mm.
The one that they're pointing out is the one where Eugene is trying to like unveil the cabal of secret agents within the Commonwealth. I mean, when I say it out loud, it sounds pretty dumb.
And it is kind of dumb. There's definite, but I also think, to me, it's not just specific episodes, it's sort of like storylines. So I think that storyline is dumb. And I don't think it's limited to that specific episode. But
Well,
there
that one I
are,
think was where that story got the most traction, like they did the most with it
yeah.
in the episode 11 of season 11.
But I guess there's like different storylines that I'm like, eh. So, and they kind of lose their way with a couple of them. I mean, the Carol Daryl Trust storyline is something that I've always hated, where they do have her do stupid stuff. And then she gets forgiven. And I don't know, it's just a little I don't think you can limit it to these specific episodes, but fine.
Yeah, there's a lot of the Savior story arc in here because, frankly, that's not hard to do. The Savior story arc took several seasons, like 3 seasons. So how are you going to avoid it? At least there was one here for how stupid Jadis was as a character when they first introduced her. And the one where Carl gets the hidden bite is also called out here. So I know that that's going to make you happy on some level.
Yeah, it is. It definitely that was really annoying.
The episode where Leah and Daryl hook up or meet, that like kind of one off. It was in the COVID run of filler episodes. They don't like that one either.
Mm.
I don't remember disliking it, but
Yeah,
also I would think I was just desperate for content in that time
me
in my
too.
life.
So I may feel different. I may have felt differently about it then. I kind of agree.
Yeah. And then they also have the one where Heath disappears. It's what they're saying is that Alana Masterson's Tara was not able to hold down a episode by herself, which I feel like is pretty rough.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know, the huge bummer about that episode is that Heath is written off the show in a very unsatisfying way, and then they never did anything with that.
It was very unsatisfying, but they could still have him do his own spin-off, and I think they should. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a few others on here. It's always interesting to go back through a show. I just think if they'd really done this for all 100 or whatever episodes of The Walking Dead, they probably would have found some that were similarly weak from the earlier seasons too. because not every season had a snoozer,
True.
you know. But that's a hell of a project to go through and rewatch every single episode of The Walking Dead just to be like, these ones were bad. So I don't know who has that kind of time.
Agree. Um, but I think, they're just trying to get another listicle into the mix, so I get that too.
Always need more listicles.
Yep. Um, but, since news is a little light, I'm pretty excited to talk about what we're going to chat about today, which is um the this another Thai zombie film. And this is definitely more in the kind of action martial arts vein.
Oh
So
yeah, this is a Muay Thai zombie movie,
hmm Um,
and that was actually pretty entertaining.
yep. And is it Ziam? Is that
Yeah,
how?
like
Yeah.
Siam, but
Yep.
with a Z. Get it?
I get it.
Yep. So, and it's an interesting world building exercise here too, because it's set in the future, or at least a dystopian present,
Mhm.
uh, where, well, it's like, climate change has caused a climate apocalypse. The country of Thailand has kind of isolated itself from the rest of the world to maintain its populace, and has kind of degenerated into a police state slash I don't know it's basically run by a corporation
Yeah.
and military police, it feels like.
Yeah, because resources are light, and so they are controlling the resources. And you find out pretty early on what the food resources are and why they're looking for new things. But the main there's like two leads, but the main lead I would say is Prin Suparat as Singh. And this guy is supposed to be a former Muay Thai fighter. And
Do you feel like he didn't do that to your satisfaction, supposed to
no,
be?
I thought he was really great, actually. I thought
Good looking, good in an action scene.
that the choreography was actually really, really great.
Yeah. I'd
Um,
say the one thing about Singh is he's not very friendly.
he doesn't have a lot of lines. I
He
mean,
doesn't have a ton of lines, and he's spending a lot of scenes with a kid who is super charismatic, and he never meets him halfway. It's like Sing.
um,
I mean, maybe that's just part of his character, and sure, but Singh does not give back very much in terms of relationship building.
but he apparently internationally he's known as Mark Prin. But they have him, yeah. So that's but I thought he was like I thought, it would have been nice for him to have a few more lines, but I thought he carried it well. And I thought the choreography, if that's what they were going for, was pretty successful, at least from my point of view, in the like sense that it was like super fast moving and interesting and kind of like in this world pretty useful. Apparently he's actually a black belt in judo. The actor is. So
Yeah,
that really,
you could tell this guy knew what he was doing.
yep.
And
And
then
then
cast across from him is a woman with a very Thai name because it's
you're
400 syllables. I'm going
yeah,
to try and say it.
okay.
It's Natanacha, that's her first name,
Yep.
Dungwatana Wanich. Dungwatana Wanich. Very Thai name. Love it. She's great. She's playing Rin, who it turns out is like a pediatric surgeon, I want to say.
hmm And
Um,
then Wanvala Munathi pays it is Buddy, and he is like the child sidekick that pops in,
yeah,
and he is supposed to be Rin's best friend because his mom works at the hospital.
right.
And that like I even when they introduced this character, I was like, oh, I know where this is going. Like,
Yeah.
um, which is, but there were some really actually there's some good scenes with him and Singh, and so that was kind of cool. Um, and they utilized that. He wasn't, I felt like they utilized him in a good way for the most part.
Yeah, they do. I just have some concerns about young Juan Vila's mental health after being on the set because This is a young child. He's like 10 or younger, and he is put through the ringer in terms of extras chasing him and
Yeah.
blood
No, I
everywhere. Like they don't spare him as an actor, I feel like very much, which I hope that he's doing okay.
well, I think I agree with you on that. However, I wonder if the behind the scenes they were, doing it, making it so that he understood that it was.
Yeah, I
I would
assume
think they
that's
would.
the bare minimum. It's it's more like the
I will
visuals.
say that these zombies were pretty terrifying, and there's like a pretty big twist with them in that, you think that they're as scary as they're gonna get, and then a little like Gremlins, you add water and they turn into something even worse, which is like, whoa.
Yeah.
But the makeup and effects, I mean, to what you were saying, to your point, it was pretty scary. And so I think even on set, knowing that they're not real, I think that for even for an adult, I think that could be pretty scary.
Yeah,
So.
you hear about like adult actors on Walking Dead being scared by the zombie actors. So at least some people admit to that. Others are just like, yeah, well, we just had lunch together at the crafts um,
Right.
services table, so I'm not scared of Jimmy. But it looks scary from where we're sitting. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the perspective. So what another interesting and novel approach by this film is that it's fish-based zombie virus.
Yes, but it's like such a like I kind of liked this little twist. I thought this was interesting that, in this world, food is so scarce and that they're looking for better food. And so it's not clear where they got these fish or whether they're like
Oh, I think they're from a
created.
crashed freighter on this that is like beached itself on the coast
Okay.
of Thailand.
I was like not sure if they had some other like thought with this or that there was some other involvement that they were kind of like that they had created these. So I wasn't sure if like the crash freighter was like part that they were exporting this to different parts of the world or something like that. But
No, it's certainly there's room for a sequel.
right. I felt like there was to me, I was like, oh, is there more to this plot with the fish? So in any case, this was not a successful venture though. Like the
It's so ballsy that they're like so basically it turns out that Singh it works as an enforcer for this guy who is a scavenger.
yeah,
And he is working in turn for the mafia or some sort of mob, who in turn work for Mr. Vasu, the head of the corporate Bangkok, um, whose main industries are growing bugs to make protein bars out of, which is cool. Like honestly, I'm loving this whole hierarchy. I'm loving the thought that's gone into the world building here in terms of like, oh, how are we going to make these people survive? It's bugs. We're not going to make the zombie virus based on bug protein bars. Thank goodness. No, this is like a an external source of food that they're just introducing. And so Singh comes into it because he is riding shotgun in this guy's truck and they're getting waylaid by road agents. And then you get to see him kick ass pretty early on and he gets paid with a motorcycle, was it?
yeah, like it's a motorcycle, and I mean it's a pretty good get though. He doesn't really use it.
No, because the rest of the movie is inside a hospital. He doesn't get to ride his motorcycle at all, really.
Right.
But good for him that he gets a motorcycle, I guess. And his wife slash girlfriend slash sister what is their relationship?
I don't, it feels like they are together, but they're maybe going through some difficulties. And many of their difficulties seem to be connected to the fact that they're in this world together. She's a doctor. They both work these kind of crazy hours, but his enforcer job specifically, and we know that this is what he's doing because the kickboxing place, the Muay Thai place, where he used to do all these competitions, is shut down permanently, and we know this because of this very clear sign that they do,
Yep.
um,
With
but
subtitles.
with subtitles. But I think. Um, she's very worried about where this is going to lead him. It feels like a dangerous world, and they're a little bit like he'd been gone for days. So that's kind of what's going on. And there's just like a strain in their relationship, and it's a kind of thin plot point because they don't really get into this. We get a little bit of this you know, she kind of like starts to try to like say, well, we'll talk about this later when I get home. And of course,
Yeah.
hilarity ensues. So,
Yeah, but there's not a ton of character building or development of their relationship other than the fact that they are extremely devoted to one another and will go to the ends of the earth for each other. However, I'm not sure what that relationship is because there is a photo of them in their apartment of them together as children, like little children. So maybe they just grew up in the same village, which is where Rin wants to return. She wants to leave Bangkok, and that's also a plot point that Singh brings up. Um, and because he says it to the driver who he's working for or with, and the driver's just like, "Look, it's as bad there as it is here." So, at least you're close to the protein bar factory, is kind of the impression I get. But it's also like full of bandits.
yep.
Um, so we've got a scene of the mob boss has taken possession of this crate of fish, and he's serving it to a bunch of suits, and he's saying, "This is the really good fish. We're gonna like this." Immediately goes badly. Like this movie honestly does not waste any time. And then there's also a scene of a guy out in the street with like the fish carcass, and he's getting beaten up for the fish carcass, and then it ends up with some other thugs out in the streets. So we can assume that Bangkok is actually completely overrun because
Yep.
we don't get to see anything else going on in the city. In fact, the rest of the movie does not really treat that scene again.
No, they didn't go back to it. We're all focused on the hospital and what's going on at the hospital.
But so is the military. Like
Right.
they're blowing up the hospital by the end of the film to save Bangkok.
Right.
So there's, you would think if there was a continuing outbreak outside of the hospital that, well, I mean, we should hear about it, you would think.
Well, I mean, I think that that would have been that's, I guess, the setup for the sequel, but it was odd that they didn't show at least one scene of what was happening outside of
Yeah.
the hospital.
They obviously they took the time to shoot scenes that set up a secondary vector. And the guy that they beat up in the alley shows up as a zombie in the hospital later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. But yeah, so very quickly though, we see that these suits and mob bosses all get sick from eating the fish. They don't turn into zombies right away. And Rin and Buddy and Mink, I want to say, is the woman's name on the subtitles. That's
Yep.
Buddy's mom. They all go to work, except that Buddy's just kind of there as like an unofficial daycare. He's just like running around talking to other people,
Yep.
and then follows Rin upstairs, I want to say.
Yeah, and she tells him conveniently where she's going, and then she has to go into surgery, so she can't take him with her. So,
Yeah.
but he knows to tell Singh where she is. So,
She's pulled out of that surgery, however, to go and attend to Mr. Vasu's wife, so Mr. Vasu, basically the unofficial leader of Bangkok through his corporate network, he has a very sick wife, and she's been in the hospital for a long time. He seems to know Rin and this other doctor, like the head doctor, and they're promising more medical aid. I kind of forget the specifics of that scene, but really what that's there to do is to get her to the very top floor of the hospital, which is the 10th floor.
yep.
And meanwhile, as nobody is surprised, one of the mob bosses is brought in with, convulsions and then turns on dies and then turns on a hospital table. And then hilarity ensues as it does. And this is great. Like these scenes unfold in the way that we want them to as genre
Yeah.
fans, where we kind of want everything to be a certain way,
Yep.
but also we're happy for some changes to be introduced here and there. And I think we basically get that in this movie.
We do. And, they unfold the crisis at the hospital. They also unfold Singh getting to the hospital relatively quickly and, starting his little journey to find Rin.
I
Uh,
love the way that the hospital, at first it's an evacuation, and then within one scene it
yep.
turns into a containment
And this,
because people start falling off the roof and turning into zombies.
yeah.
And so when the woman falls off the roof and those soldiers go up to her and they're like, and then they see her start to move and get up, and one of them runs up to her to help her, which I feel like that's not a reaction that you see very often.
Nope.
And so I really enjoyed that. But then of course he does get bitten
Right.
Anyway, that was cool. And so Singh uses the chaos to get his way into the hospital, and then suddenly nobody's allowed to leave. And you get all these great scenes of people being chased, these poor security guards on the inside who only have truncheons. There's one specifically who almost is like a hero character because at first he's trying to
Yeah,
calm everybody down. You see then like a mob of zombies running toward him, and he's trying to struggling to get his billy club out. And then we cut away from him, and you're just like, well, that's the end of that guy. But then he shows up later.
he does. And it's nice because they have like a very like specific little armband on him that you can recognize even with all the zombie stuff all over him.
Yeah, he is blood soaked the next time we see him,
Yep.
and he
Yep.
has a tragic death. And honestly, yeah, tragic scene.
Yep.
So I
Um,
thought they did a good job with a tiny little scene like that where this guy has three lines and three combined minutes of screen time, but it's a pretty memorable element to the film.
yep. Um, and it also shows, I mean, I feel like their storytelling was pretty tight and quick.
It's a 90-minute movie, so
Yeah.
yeah.
They show the initial reaction, but they quickly like turn into this, okay, we got to contain this, and how do we contain this? Well, you gotta like just get rid of the whole hospital, and that includes anybody else who isn't infected. And so it's pretty rough what they do here, but it
I like
makes
the math they did. They're like, how many people in Bangkok? 5
yep,
million. How many people in the hospital? 500. Let's blow up
yep,
the hospital. I was like,
yep.
okay, I get it.
But because of this immediate decision, some of the reaction later doesn't make total sense. But meaning I don't know that Rin and Buddy would have survived in this instance.
Well, their survival is not up to the general. That's up to this one soldier who I think is credited as Soldier Six or something like that in the
Yeah,
subtitles.
yeah,
That's his call, and so he makes that call, and that's good for him.
yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah,
But in any case, it's already in this scenario where the soldiers are like, "Yep, we're going to contain this." Singh gets in. Buddy is like, "Hey, my best friend, your wife, Rin, is
or
up on
sister.
this, or sister." I think it feels more romantic
I
to
mean, he
me.
does give her a ring at one point.
Yeah. Like she's up on the 10th floor and we got to go and do this. And yeah, they're totally romantically involved. They can't be
Do they make out or something? I forget.
I don't know, but she's got the whole thing with the rain. It feels weird. Anyway, they um
She's not even wearing it though. At the beginning of the film, it's on a necklace around her neck.
well, they've been going through some hardships. Anyway, they they really quickly get into this whole thing. And there's a lot of like interesting little like scenes. Like she's trying to escape from the infected, and there are a lot of them are her former colleagues. But the makeup and everything is really good. The tension is good, and it's quickly moving, so it's great. For Buddy and Singh, they're kind of going through this sort of a video game-esque kind of maze adventure
Yeah.
where they're trying to get to her, which is and take a little bit of a side quest because of course Buddy sees his mother, and that is a messed up that whole thing is pretty messed up.
Oh, super. Oh, it goes from bad to worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's like, the whole thing with the babies and the incubators. I was really glad they didn't directly show that. They just imply it, which is bad enough. But we really see the devastation that this causes in just quick succession. And I do think that they use the kid pretty well. And he's not being stupid mostly,
He's
and
pretty loud.
he is loud,
He's
but
kind of constantly yelling
mm,
and saying for all of his terseness never tells him to be quiet.
yeah, true. Um,
And like Buddy's yelling does get them in trouble at least once or twice. Also, the Sing Buddy meeting scene is really funny because
yeah,
actually you're concerned. Buddy gets bitten on the leg, but then he's like, "Tell my mom I love her. Oh, I'm probably done for you. You should go." And this is a child, you know. And then he looks down and he sees that the zombie had that bit him was wearing dentures,
yeah,
and so
it's
he's
funny.
like, "Oh, okay."
It's really messed up though. That's like
I
really
mean, yeah.
messed up.
Like that's the kind of stuff that an adult character would probably say in another film, but in this case, it's Buddy because he's the one doing all the talking.
Right. And then, we have the other side story here, which is the part of the reason that there are any tactical people coming into this building is because of the mafia boss or whatever you want to call him. And he's there because his wife has been ill, and he was actually going to give his wife some of this fish, and eventually does that. He did. I guess he didn't understand that that was the source. I don't know,
Wait,
but
he gives her the fish oil?
he must have, or she gets bitten.
She got bit. You can see a bite mark on her eventually
But,
when she.
maybe he thought differently about it when he saw that fish moving in the dish because it was pretty gross.
Yeah.
Um, but he's very much like mercenary. He just wants to take care of his wife, and so he basically gives Rin a lifeline and tells her if she helps him get blood for his wife that she can escape with him. And that again, it's quickly moving, so it's not like you have to wait for the payoff here. I mean, it's
There's
pretty
that
clear.
that scene is crazy. He's like, "Please go and get my wife more blood." First of all, unless she's actively losing tons of blood, why would she
Right.
need continuous blood
Well,
transfusions?
we never know what's wrong with her, really.
That's true, but there doesn't appear to be a pool of blood on the bed
Right.
under her. And if she is constantly losing blood, she should probably be having surgery and not just sitting in like a cozy hospital suite.
Right.
So when he still has like a half a bag of blood on the stick thing when he tells Rin, surgeon, please go out back out into the hallways where you just escaped from zombies and find me more blood. And she's like, and then I'll take you with me. And she's like, okay, yeah, not a problem. And then she doesn't actually succeed in finding him blood because there are zombies everywhere and she's running for her life, which is fine because this rescue squad of Navy SEALs comes in and immediately give the woman more blood. Like they just have
I
bags of
know. They
blood
just
with them.
happen to have it with them, right?
So it was like a completely unnecessary mission, which I thought was kind of funny too. But like this all serves to get Singh and Rin together in a way that also puts them at odds with Vasu and these soldiers, because as they're trying to exfil with Mrs. Vasu on a gurney and like I don't know, a handful of soldiers who seem to be taking care of business pretty well. The medic gets killed, and so then Vasu is like, "I know where there's another medic or doctor," and then they find Rin and decide to take her with them, shooting Singh. It's the least effective bullet wound though in the history of bullet wounds.
Yeah. Although I mean, man, he plays it up. So he has like, I guess, a rush of adrenaline after seeing his whole life pass before his eyes. But he manages to get up and then kick ass of a lot of both zombies and the soldiers. But one specific, like the head guy, they have like an all-out battle, which is pretty insane. But at one point, it does look like the guy, like, almost, it sounds like he breaks his neck, but apparently does not. Just chokes him a little bit. And they almost like neutralize each other, which is kind
They
of
knock, yeah, they knock each other out. And during that brief interlude, the bearded soldier gets bitten by a zombie.
yep.
Classic. And so that's a really cool scene, set of sequence. Like you've got Sing kicking soldiers' asses and zombies' asses, soldiers fighting zombies, soldiers fighting Sing. It's super fun, honestly. I love this whole sequence.
And then
Thought it
I
was
love
fun.
how like the main soldier guy doesn't even like they're now having to navigate around him. And so that's kind of fun. And then it takes it up a notch with the sprinkler system kind of coming down and turning them into now even weirdly more mutated fish zombies, which these are pretty rough fish. I don't know if I would ever eat a fish that I saw like this in the ocean. I mean, they never talk about what kind of fish it is,
It
but
looks
they
familiar. I feel like I've
look
seen
pretty
that
rough.
fish. Yeah.
And but the people become like very, and the effects here, like when the water falls on them, is really disgusting and awesome. Like they definitely turn into fish. Like even their faces and features kind of start to look
Yeah,
fish-like.
they're the sides of their mouths split and become much wider, and then their teeth all get little spikes on them. That's fantastic.
Yep, it's really good. And really gross. And and the other victim of this is the wife, Anne, and it's a pretty satisfying moment when Vasu basically is like he doesn't care who he like leaves behind. He just wants to basically have his wife be okay, and so if it
Yeah.
serves his purpose, he'll take you along. So that's like his offer to Rin, and he doesn't want to take her husband or the kid.
I'm not sure how to feel about Vasu given this. He gets kind of like a nice send-off in a way, considering he
Yeah.
might be responsible for a lot of like corrupt
Yeah.
authoritarianism, but he's also, as he keeps reminding people, like I'm the reason why everybody in Thailand is alive because of my bug factories and my protein bars.
Yep.
So, but and then like his death scene is his wife reanimates as a zombie, and he's so happy to see her and
No.
hug her again that that she bites him, and then 100 other zombies attack and dogpile on him,
Hmm.
and then hold up his still beating heart. So,
Yeah, that was a really rough ending for him. Um, but sort of a fitting one given how terrible he's been. So,
that's what I'm saying. Like, has he been that terrible? Other than like trying to take Rin away from Singh and Buddy?
well, I mean, they're kind of responsible ultimately for this like sort of weird iron fist that they're holding the world in, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
Um,
maybe.
but anyway, but the hilarity ensues as Rin and Buddy try to get to the roof, along with Singh, who is miraculously recovered. There's some good zombie action with like a fire extinguisher. And just generally, I don't think that Singh would have gotten through all of this. I just don't think there's any way, but he is a really good Muay Thai fighter.
Yep.
So, so he just keeps barreling through these insane odds.
He's killing zombies with his kicks, his
Yep.
fists, his elbows. He does a few flying elbows that like crush people's skulls in
Yeah.
this movie, which I
Yeah.
guess is just a normal move in Muay Thai.
And then because they're getting overwhelmed in the parking garage, Rin and Buddy, he sends them ahead, and then he gets trapped in the car, and like I I don't think there's like many things that he would not have survived, and I do not think he would have survived whatever this explosion is.
Oh yeah, come on. Yeah. So Rin and Buddy get to the roof and talk a soldier into the fact that they're not infected and that they would like to leave. And he's like, "Go get in the go get in the helicopter." This is kind of the thing you were describing earlier, like, huh? But so this it's up to him. Like he's the guy on the ground. And he's just like, "Where's the rest of my soldiers?" And they're like, "They're all dead, but there is another guy coming. Can we wait for him?" And he's like, "Okay, we'll give him 5 minutes." But then like the car, something explodes while Singh is in the car, and the soldier's like, "All right, that's it. We're out of here." And so they
Yeah.
start to take off. Just then, Singh emerges onto the roof, and the zombies are all right behind him. I kind of still feel like the soldier made the right call. The helicopter takes off. Seconds later, the bomb that they've set goes off, and Singh, who we didn't see climb into one of these big metal things on the roof,
Yeah.
has apparently done that because that he emerges from it in the credits, kills a zombie in the meantime, which means also zombies have survived the hospital
Yeah.
explosion
Definitely.
because
Um,
apparently this collapsing building was not nearly as perilous as it appeared to be.
yes. And, Rin and Buddy are happily ensconced in a what looks like a pretty rural country estate, and it looks empty, but I would imagine the zombies are coming for them too in the sequel, and Sane is probably coming for them. She doesn't think he's alive. She's like tossing his ring into the river.
She did not. She just put it on her finger.
I
She did
but
not throw it away.
I know, but there's an implication that she might. But anyway, she's pretty sad, and
Yeah, but
his,
Buddy's with her and he's irrepressible. Like he watched his mother turn into a zombie and eat babies in front of him. And he's like, "Hey, let's I've got some food for breakfast." Or I don't know what he's saying to her, but
Yeah, but I think there will be a sequel. I don't know how successful this was, but this was fun. I can't imagine that they wouldn't do a sequel to this.
I
Um,
yeah, it would probably be super entertaining. Maybe they could develop the relationship between Sing and Rin, whether they are siblings or spouses.
they are a boyfriend and girlfriend or something. They definitely are not siblings.
Okay. Did they kiss at all
Um,
when they
they
were reunited?
they like you
Hug like
know,
brother and sister might?
no, they're not brother and sister.
All right, if you say so. I'm not convinced.
Have you read the overview on Netflix? It says he has to save his girlfriend.
Okay. Maybe, I mean, Netflix is written by just randos. They don't know. I'm just saying
But
there's a chance. And
I
wouldn't it
don't
be
think
nice?
so.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a
Um,
brother and sister zombie story where they're as committed to each other as a romantic couple, but
uh,
not romantically, you know what I'm saying? It's not gross.
there's always already conjecture about like a sequel, but basically nobody knows anything. So they're all just, I think it's a lot of people trying to push for a sequel, but there's not one in the mix yet,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
Well, I'd sign up for it, so
Wait, apparently it is in uh 2020 um there's supposedly going to be one, but this is all conjecture. I'm not seeing any credible sources at this
okay.
point.
Well, suddenly Thailand has emerged on the scene, has entered the chat as a serious zombie film producer. I like this one more than Operation Undead for a few reasons. The story wasn't as long and confusing. Like this was just all action, and that's just a lot of fun to. And you know, zombie stories in a hospital are one of my preferred locations for a zombie story. Outbreak beginnings, you know. How about you? How did it pair up with last week?
I thought this was fun in an action movie kind of way. Like to me this is just like a really like fun romp in the horror in this particular genre. It felt like, you know, how Underworld is kind of pretty but dumb.
Yeah.
This is kind of what this felt like, and I would definitely watch a sequel. I do wish they had developed the relationships a little bit more, but I will say that the zombies and the like twist in terms of their mutation is kind of cool. I would like to see what they do with that in a sequel. Like, are there weaknesses that they have because these are like fish people? Probably. Is there some other weird thing where they are like infiltrating things through like water sources or things like that? It's like through the water table because that feels like something that would be obvious, right? As they mutate, do they become more like mermen or something? Um, it's like terrifying zombie mermen.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, I think that that was kind of like a fun thing. I think these are very different types of movies, so I don't know that you could necessarily compare them.
Yeah, they're night and day, but just rare that we get movies from Thailand, so it was interesting to watch them back to back.
Yeah, and look, I loved the martial arts aspect of this too. I gotta admit, like this was just a really fun, light zombie film for me.
Absolutely.
Um, I do think that they could beef up the storyline a little bit. That's it. But maybe they'll do that in the sequel.
And so I guess we'll leave this behind for now. But if anybody has thoughts about Ziam and wants to share it with us, you can do that at reanimatedpodcast@gmail.com. You can find the rest of our episodes on the internet at reanimated.podbean.com. I don't know what we're going to do next week, but it's going to be great. It might be Daryl Dixon season 3 because I think it starts next week.
I think so, and I'm excited to watch that with you. But thanks for listening in the meantime, and love to hear what you think about this and all things zombie. Until next time, bye bye.
Ciao.